Hi there, welcome to the Fierce Factor podcast. I'm your host, Kaylee Lindholm. And I think it's time for us women to shift the conversation in business and step into our feminine leadership to do the most iconic work the aesthetic industry has ever seen. Each week, I'll be bringing a powerful dose of strategy, sarcasm, solutions, and sass that will rev up your creativity and ignite your brilliance as you link arms with me along our shared path of personal and professional growth in 20 minutes or less. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to the Fierce Factor podcast. It's Kaylee here, and we are in full summer swing. I am loving it. In fact, last week we kicked off our summer school masterclass series where we are hosting a series of 8 weeks worth of tactical sessions to help you and your team members sharpen your skills to thrive during the summer. While there is a ton of scheduled downtime, holiday, and celebratory events during the months of really June through September, I do believe that this gift of quote unquote downtime from our business is the perfect opportunity to pull back the hood, check the ecosystem, and really set new standards of excellence for our company. For you, this might look like investing some time into secret shopper calling your office, or it might look like putting your entire team through your own skills training and certification program. And for our clients at KLC, they are head down, dialing in the systems, structure, and foundation to prepare for the busy fall and winter. In fact, that's exactly why we're running a summer school series over here at KLC to help support our clients and you polish up to get ahead, even while you are sitting in your backyard watching your kids splash fight over pool floaties or whatever it is that you do during the summer. So if you hadn't had a chance to check out our almost sold out summer school series sessions and you're looking to up level yourself and your team with bite-sized power classes this summer, head over to klcconsultants.com/summer school. We have a series of classes including front office training, building job descriptions, designing marketing campaigns, developing KPIs for team members, and so much more. You can register your entire team for these classes for only $197 per class per practice and have access to the replays through the end of September. This is a no-brainer, goddess. So we will open up 20 seats per class. So do not sleep on this opportunity. So for today, in the spirit of beating the summer slowdown, I want to talk a little about leading during down times, because the truth is slow times don't just happen during the summer months. They happen during political events, pandemics, team turnover, management changes, and really even launching new initiatives. You heard Justin share on last week's podcast about checking yourself. When you say you are in a slowdown, like what does that even mean? Are you earning less revenue this summer than you did last summer or last season, or seeing fewer patients this month than last month or last year? Or is your business in a plateau and you're really actually stuck? The more important question is all of this actually true? And what are you doing with that truth? So perhaps you are experiencing a slow season. How will you respond? Do you just wait it out? Do you pull back on investments or team? Do you wait on making the moves you've been preparing for? Too often we project without facts or even foresights into the future and make something like a slow season mean we need to curl up and sit on the defense in our business. Or we lead our team with anxious energy without even realizing that it's their commitment to pursuing that vision with vigilance that will keep a slow season just a season and not a new normal. And what I want to remind you of today is how critically important it is to manage your mind through the messy process of building your business, because the ups and downs are all part of the journey and honestly part of the human experience. There will never be a time where everything is perfect and there are no challenges, because that's the point of what we're doing. If all of our wishes instantly came true, we'd simply have no purpose. I remember when I was taking Tony Robbins' business mastery program back in 2016, he told a story about a specific entrepreneur he had coached who sold his company for $1 billion and then slipped into a deep depression the next day. He said he could share story after story of people he coached who had achieved their big dream and yet never felt accomplished, even experienced feelings of being more and more disconnected to their purpose in the apparent pursuit of it. And I'll say from my experience advising hundreds of high growth women that I have found is what we tend to do is we move our line. So the dream gets bigger and we find ourselves subsequently further and further away from our new version of success. We inadvertently distance ourselves from that finish line and in result experience less joy in the climb. That is why high growth women like us are constantly seeking the next mountain to climb. We have to be able to find joy in the process or we will constantly let ourselves down. Essentially, the point being, it's not about what we're creating, it's about the creation of it. And when I think about what this means for me, I believe the calling is to become a better leader so I can carry my business to heights I haven't been to yet. It's really about becoming the woman who's capable of caring for that future dream, which means I need to meet a new version of myself. But here's what that's going to require of me. It's going to require me to fall in love with the mess itself. Because by falling in love with that messiness of personal growth and transformation, I fall deeper in love with myself and the self-respect, confidence, and worthiness that becomes the kind of energy where amazing things are built from. Success is essentially found in the pursuit of the ideal version of yourself. And this makes perfect sense on a practical level. When we think about our business, our ability to scale is directly related to our ability to transfer our skills to someone else. But if we have trust issues, if we're too worried about what others think about us, if we avoid confrontation and difficult conversations, or if we don't have the tools to rewire our habits of overworking and underfocusing, we will never make that transfer of skills a reality. And we will never grow beyond our own limitations. I taught a lesson at Alt Experience this year about preparing for and anticipating struggle in your business. The model I used is called the J curve. Think of the letter J. You might even draw a letter J in the air with your finger to visualize the steep slope followed by a high upward line. A J curve depicts a trend that starts with a sharp drop and is followed by a dramatic rise. The trend line ends in an improvement from the starting point. In economics, the J curve shows how a currency depreciation causes a severe worsening of a trade imbalance, followed by a substantial improvement. Or in your business, it might look like you hiring on a new employee, and there's a 6-month ramp up until they are operating at full capacity. During that period, there's a drop in profitability, productivity, and your energy, right? Because you're training them, the slope down in the J curve. But once they're up and running, they ramp up quickly and their impact results in a 30% revenue increase month over month and 50% less time of you working in service delivery, which in turn allows you to think and plan, build creative strategy, and reinvest earnings into assets that will catapult your income. So when we frame a downtime this way, doesn't it make all the difference? Like if we knew that the messy downward trend of the J curve was only to be followed by a fruitful upswing, how would we react differently and make decisions differently in our business? When I say business is a mind game, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Because typically women call me when they're in the thick of their J curve valley and lose faith and give up. Consciously or subconsciously. Maybe even though we planned for that new employee to be an investment in time and money for the first 6 months, now the economic climate is contracting. Maybe we're experiencing cancellations or a slowdown in new leads or conversions, and we are reactively starting to put impulsive pressure on ourselves and our team. Like recently, we had a client who was in this position and started cracking down on rules she hadn't enforced for the past several years, like clocking in and out on time, taking personal calls on breaks, and showing up with hair and makeup done. Small but important details that hadn't been enforced in the past because, quote unquote, things were good. Now we transfer that nervous energy to our team instead of putting those accountabilities in place and enforcing them from day one to be strong and at the top of their game as a team before the uncertainty of a fluctuating season arrived. And this is not leading with confidence. This is reacting out of insufficiency. So can you experience the difference here? Imagine being a team member when you have a boss who's all of a sudden every day up in your business about all these rules, which they're not new rules. They're rules that have been around, but they haven't been enforced. And so it's sort of a whole different vibe when you're trying to inspire and encourage people and motivate them to do things for the right reasons when you're helping explain the why and the upside for those things versus just putting rules in place. Or another thing I'll see is letting go of a new team member altogether, or dramatically changing the agreement that maybe we had with them, which impacts their buy-in into the bigger vision. Staying on course requires you to show up at your best for your team when times are tough. Welcome to leadership. So how do we help our clients navigate this? We work on their mind, meaning we help reframe and shift perspective to instill confidence in the process. So I'll ask them, if you knew the outcome, if you knew everything would work out as it was intended in the end, how would that impact this decision today? More often than not, that reframe impacts the decision itself altogether. What we're doing here is outsmarting our brain altogether, because if we already know the end, that knowing changes the middle of the story. Like when you're watching a movie with a sequel and the main character is in danger at the climax of the story, like Batman is dying. But we know there's another Batman because there's a sequel, right? He's going to survive, but we still feel the fluttering of uncertainty through that scene. But we know that he's going to be okay. And I know for me personally, some of the most painful experiences I've endured in my life left me better off in the end. We never know why we're facing the struggles we face. We can't control them, but we can control how we perceive our ability to grow through the struggle. I'm reminded of an old parable about a Zen farmer called Good Luck, Bad Luck, Who Knows? And I think this comes as a really useful mantra in these kinds of moments of uncertainty. And it's the story of the Zen farmer who worked on a farm plowing his fields with a horse, and one day that horse ran away. And when that happened, all the neighbors came by from the village and said, "We're so sorry, this is such bad luck." And he said, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" A week later, that horse ends up coming back and it brings another horse with it. And so now he's got all this extra help and everyone comes by again and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is such good luck." And the farmer says, "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" A couple weeks later, the farmer's son is trying to tame one of the horses and falls off its back and breaks its leg. And of course, all the village people come by and they're like, "Wow, my gosh, we're so sorry. This is such bad luck." And the farmer says, "Bad luck, good luck, who knows?" A couple weeks later, the army comes through town and there's an enlisting of all the able-bodied young men. They walk past the farmer's son. They see he has a broken leg and they move on and they let him stay. And of course, all the neighbors come by and guess what they say? "Wow, really good luck." And you can guess the farmer's response: "Good luck, bad luck, who knows?" So it's this sentiment that I think is the thing that helps us really be honest with what is going on when we're in the messy middle. The reality is we don't have control over our destiny, essentially. We just feel that initial pain to meet the reality that's right in front of us. But that pain becomes heavily exacerbated and multiplied by how our mind makes implications out of it. We just automatically want to forecast something going on in the future. But that's really up to God. So let's go all in. Let the pain come, because that's the root of growth and prosperity. We've got one life, and it's time to have the courage to step up and make our dreams happen. Not conform, not shrink down and tell ourselves we're not ready for greatness because we're scared of what that future could be. The only way to be ready for greatness is to push out of our comfort zone and to do great things, even if it's scary, even if it's a huge risk, even if there's uncertainty in the outcome. So choose to seek support and spend time with people who are realizing their full internal potential so you can be inspired to stop chasing results and instead put your head down in the process and love every part of the mess. Okay, leader, that's all I have for you today. Now go sign up for summer school and I will see you same place, same time next week. Listen, leader, if you're vibing with me here, hang tight, because I have a brand new resource for you. You are a successful, confident, powerful woman who just isn't into being average. No, you have a calling, and part of that calling is requiring you to level up. And I know that if you're working across the next $1 million milestone in your business, you need to be in the right circles. And perhaps that's why you found us. I'd love to invite you to join The Blueprint, a weekly resource for inspired, provocative thinkers who are taking this conversation to the next level. Get access to free business tools, podcast supplements, guideposts, and direct communication with me and my expert team. And of course, a masterfully curated circle of women making big moves and disrupting the status quo in aesthetics and wellness. You can link directly through the show notes or head to klcconsultants.com/blueprint. It's time to elevate. See you there, goddess.